Welcome to Real Estate U with Lettiann.
Welcome back to Real Estate U with Lettiann, and we're delighted today to have Mike Stockman with us. It's Stockman Construction?
Stockman Construction, LLC.
Stockman Construction, LLC. So today, Mike and I are going to talk about what should I remodel. So I'm going to just give Mike, give a little bit of background about Mike Stockman. So Mike, you've been a firefighter for decades, right? 30 some years?
Yeah, since 1980.
Oh, wonderful. And your son is also a firefighter?
I have two sons that are both firefighters too.
Great. Following in Dad's footsteps.
They are.
So are they working with you at Stockman Construction?
One of them is working with me. Corey is, and then my other son has his own landscape company.
Oh, so what prompted you to start Stockman Construction?
I think when I got out of the Army, I started, I moved down to Oklahoma for a while, and I started building houses with some people. And then afterwards, when I came back to Kansas City and got a job as a firefighter, it just seemed more natural going into the remodeling industry.
And how long have you, how long has it been since you started Stockman Construction?
I'm pretty much in the early 80s.
Okay. Oh, wow. So that's, again, a couple of decades.
Uh-huh.
So, Mike, we are talking about remodeling today, and I've seen some of your work. It's absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
So from your home building, you said, I really like what I do. Let's take it to another level when you move back to Kansas City.
Yes. And so we've been doing all kinds of remodeling. You know, of course, Johnson County, they have a lot of basements, and, you know, people buy their homes and they haven't had their basement finished. So we've been doing a lot of basements. And most of those basements are not really for resale. It's for just what the people want, you know, making it extended their living areas.
Certainly. And there's a lot of people that are wanting to do that.
Oh, yes.
So again, Stockman Construction, just to reiterate, locally owned business here in the Kansas City metro area. I think a lot of your concentration is in Johnson County. However, you would be open to the Kansas City metro area.
Yeah, I think the furthest job I've done is like Platte City one time.
Okay. So what is your forte? Do you have a niche of like we really like to do and we're really good at blank?
I think the basements, it works good with our schedule as firefighters. And I've been doing it for so long. Even they have plans, and a lot of times your plans from architects just don't work with basements. You have to know what you're doing and work around the beams and the concrete and stuff. And your bathrooms, sometimes they're pre-plumbed in there and sometimes they aren't. So, but basements are definitely the specialty.
And basements, because I saw the basement you did with the wine cellar.
Uh-huh.
It was fabulous.
Well, thanks.
So your basements can really kick it up and take it to another notch.
Yeah, if somebody wants a nice wine cellar with stone, that wine cellar that you saw, we end up doing a dome ceiling. And
like a barrel roll?
Barrel roll.
Yeah, cool. It was really cool.
And then we put brick herringbone on the ceiling, and then stone, like solid stone walls with the wine racks and stuff. And
what was cool is I saw the room before you did it, and it was literally the bar in the basement was finished. It had built-ins, and there was a door that someone said, well, maybe one day. And that room is only like 6 by 4, not big.
No, I think it was about 10 by 5.
Okay, so a little bit bigger than I remember. But then I saw the finished product, and it was like the cutest, darling, most like coolest niche. And did you have like a wine fridge in there? I'm trying to remember what.
We had a little countertop with the granite top on it, and there was a little table back in the corner with a couple seats and stuff.
It was very homey. I felt like I wanted to fire up a cigar in there and open a bottle of wine.
Uh-huh.
Did you put in sometimes people do, they put in the exhaust, so if somebody does want to smoke a stove. But you could do that on the porch at that house. I mean, the walkout was actually kind of a cigar smoking area.
And I've done one of those rooms too, a little cigar room and climate-controlled cigar room for people and stuff. There's different ways that you have to build them, and kind of with the insulation, and you have to use house wrap and stuff inside those, and cedar and get the humidity just right for their cigars.
So I'm bringing these all to a point because I want to let people know that Mike Stockman does far more than, it's a basement finish. They have a bar and there's one bedroom and one full bathroom. And, we put up the sheetrock and the finishes match upstairs. Do you really like taking that to like doing something more interesting?
Oh, more creative, definitely. Right. Trying to take it to the next step. I think we just did a basement in Cedar Creek, and it had the 14.5-foot ceilings, and so we were able to really take it up a notch. And we really made a fabulous bar. The cabinets in the bar, double stack cabinets, and they have a big wine room with big 8-foot glass doors going into it.
Nice.
And then in the bathroom, the tile, the inserts and stuff, doing the custom tile work and stuff, and the tall glass doors going in there, it came out really good.
Do you draw your own plans for basement finishes and whatnot?
95% of the time. And then most of the time when the architect does it, then I have to redo probably 30% of it because they didn't really take in the steel beams and like the drop down ceilings and stuff. They just use the square footage.
Do you design it though? So you sketch it out, design it, and then they take it to the architect if need be.
Right, and work with the customer, find out what they want in their basement, and then suggest some ideas and try to make it work for what they want.
What about outdoor living spaces? Do you dabble in that at all?
Yeah, we're doing some decks right now.
Any outdoor kitchens or?
And that's what we're doing right now is the outdoor kitchen. We're extending the deck on the house, and they're going with the outside grills and the fire pits and fireplaces. Again, it's extended. It's more of the person, their taste of what they want. They want the outdoor living. They want to extend their house out and make it bigger. And I think in the patio stuff's a little bit less maintenance than what you have with your decks, especially your old decks when they used to build them, because the old cedar decks used to rot out and stuff. People didn't take care of them. I'm
so over power washing and staining and maintaining a deck. So bring on the composite decking, or even now we forget the walkout. Our house now is a daylight, and we walk right out onto the flagstone patio. What's actually a lanai, but yeah, you've been there, done that, and it's time to just find some less maintenance. What do you think is trending as the most popular? We know what rooms are most important, which go ahead. What do you most important?
Well, it depends what you're doing. Like for selling the house, I would start from what you see from the street, because as you know, when people are thumbing through the book, decide what house. If something looks nice from the outside, then they're going to stop and look at it and do more research on it. So I think updating the front of your house is first thing, with the landscape, maybe some shutters, the right paint, to update it, make it look better, to get somebody inside the door. And then of course you're doing your kitchens with the solid surface. Everybody's been going white and gray subway tile, but it is.
I'm a little over that, but that's me.
Yeah, me too.
But to each his own.
Right, yeah. And I think it's switching over a little bit. Instead of just the subway tile, the tile are getting bigger, and they have more color to them now, and a lot of them have more shape to them. But still, people are kind of want to be safe, so they kind of stick with what they're seeing. So
I think the safe people are intending to sell sooner or sell soon. When people say, well, how should I decorate, or what should I do, or this is a new house, I say, buy what talks to you. And they're like, what if it doesn't go? Who cares?
Right.
It's your house. If you like that funky, cool fixture, get it. No one's going to, like the police aren't, fashion police aren't going to come in and go, well, you've got bronze hardware with, polished chrome something sink, faucet. So.
And again, like if somebody is trying to sell their house and they're trying to decorate it and stuff, I do try to stop them if they are trying to make it too much their taste, if they're trying to get rid of the house.
Exactly. Right. If they're not going to be there another 8 years, maybe don't go there.
Right. Yeah. And so then you get into, you don't want to start making too many floor changes. You want it consistency. So, you don't want to start putting red carpet over here and blue carpet here and wood floor and tile, and when you come in, it just looks really mismatched. So
Yeah, then I too encourage people to go as neutral as possible. We know we're going to sell next month, but they're like, we need new carpet and we're going to paint. Great. Go grayish, like Sherwin-Williams grayish or something, very neutral. And then, like you said, because someone's, let it be a blank canvas,
right.
and let the new owner make it their own. Also, you know, when there's houses, say 20 years old, and someone's been in a home for a couple of decades, then they call their real estate professional. And of course, we always go over and do an assessment of, okay, I always say, don't spend a nickel unless you're going to get a dime back, because you already know you're going to be moving next month.
Right. So
they'll say, well, should we get new countertops? And I'll say, just be cautious, and likely not, because in this 20 plus year old home, you swap out the countertops, you got a really funky, weird looking house, because it doesn't go. You've just updated one piece, and now you've got a domino effect. So now you're like, well, what are we going to do with the cabinets? And now that doesn't work. So oftentimes in that case, if they're not ready to really, or want to invest in, a new kitchen or something like that, I just say, let's price accordingly and let the next owner make it their own. Because they could, if they only have 10 grand and they just change the countertops,
right,
then that's going to look really funny.
Yeah, I understand. I agree on a lot of that. Either sell it as is and you're not going to get what everybody else is in the neighborhood, or I've had customers, where we came in and did a few things. We changed some of the stuff, and they put, $10,000 or $15,000, and the market was slow moving at the time, and that pushed their house ahead of everybody else and sold it. But I think a lot of that has to do with the market. If you're in a hot market, and everything's selling, why put all that extra money in it? Just flip it.
Right, but that's with your direction. So you have the eye, you have the ability, and you can say, well, look, I've bought and sold homes myself for my whole lifetime. I would suggest not doing that, but let's take the $15,000 that you have, and let's do this with the master bathroom, and let's do this in the kitchen, and it's really just going to give it a little bit of fluff without looking awkward.
Right.
Yeah. So, but sometimes people just say, well, let's go and pick out a countertop, and then they're stuck.
Yeah.
Because they're out of funds to finish something else. So, what is your most spectacular remodel? What room was it, and what was like, wow, I'm really proud of this, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to do it?
Well, I think as you progress year by year, you're always doing something better. You're learning from, past experience and stuff. And like I said, that last job we did in Cedar Creek, they had the bones, 14-foot ceilings, and that place is just a showpiece. I mean, it's great. It looks better than, Cedar Creek's got really the $1 million homes, and the basement looks nicer than the upstairs. So,
they'll probably spend most of their time there.
Yeah, I think the kids have taken it over, though.
Of course, they did. Teenagers
took it over. So, yeah, I think, and then the tile, some of the tile work, the showers and stuff, we're getting a little more creative with them, and they look really good, jump out at you, and you come in there, and it's like eye-opening experience.
That's amazing. We have just a few minutes left, Andy's telling us, but any final thoughts or advice for someone who's considering a remodel, and if they have a certain amount of funds, what would you suggest they remodel? Any final thoughts from our remodeler here?
Are they selling, or are they living in it?
I don't care.
Well, like I said, for selling it, I would first do...
Let's start with selling it.
Selling it, I would start with the front of the house, because like you said...
That's great advice. People don't think of that. They think master bedroom, master bath, kitchen. Right. Because that's the hangout rooms.
But you got to get them to look at that first, and they're going to thumb through the MLS, and they're going through and looking at the picture, and if they see something that looks cool from the outside, they're going to stop, and then they're going to start investigating it. So I would start with the way that front of the house looks, because so many of these houses look exactly the same.
I know. And they're all the same color.
The same color. And I get confused. I pulled in the wrong driveway before on a job. It's like, oh, wait, it's next door neighbor, because they all look the same.
They do. And I often say, oh, well, if someone had too much wine and it's dark, you're going into the wrong home, and
Exactly.
then look out. You're in trouble.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've done that where we came in and put shutters on the outside of the house and dressed them up and gave them a little bit of power, and doing the bushes and landscape, doing something to bring it up to date and stuff. The berms, people, all the new houses have berms in front with their shrubbery and stuff. So I think I would start off there and then move into your kitchen and your master bathroom.
I love that. How many times have we heard that today? That's the second time today. And that's great advice, because we often come home and we kind of ignore the front of the house. I'll say we do, because my husband and I work all the time. We're empty nesters, so now we're working more than we ever did. But, we tend to get used to what we see in the front of the house, that all we're concerned about is, oh my gosh, I've got to tidy up inside because it's a mess. But you go out on your front porch and there's stuff hanging and cobwebs and wasps' nests and things like that.
Right. And, now they're going around and people are dressing up the garage doors. A lot of times you can dress up your old garage doors with the staining and painting and stuff. And it gives that pow look from the outside.
That's a great bit of pop. And even because now, like, we're in the fall and we're approaching winter, and it's hard to spruce up the front of the house. So what the things you're suggesting, maybe even new light fixture on the front porch, because now we have all these lantern style lights.
Right.
Great advice, Mike. Yeah.
So
love it. Thank you so much. Mike Stockman with Stockman Construction here in the Kansas City metro area. Give Mike a call. His contact information will be on the bottom of the screen when the episode airs. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good to see you, Mike.
All righty. Bye-bye.